Okay. Cool, 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 cool. All right. Welcome to Tuesday. Tuesday. Sorry, I made a weird face there for a while. I was testing to see whether the stream was live. Turns out it was. So, welcome to Tuesday. Um, let's see. I'm trying to find. Oh, I already have it. Okay, cool, cool, cool. I'm. Oh, I wanted to see my stream though because I am self-obsessed. Okay, I can see myself. Um, Same sort of deal as last Tuesday, only today I'm gonna do it right. I'm gonna do it good this time. Um, I Couple things I'm doing differently this time are I actually taped down my paper. I in fact cut my paper in half, well, ripped it in half, so that it would have a smaller space for me to cover. Uh, I figured this would make it easier for me to move between things really quickly. Also, take me less time to like wet the whole paper, etc., etc. Um, I also sort of watched a little bit of the video ahead of time to see whether it was really as like beginner as it seemed. And I do think she goes pretty much in real time for the most part. She probably cuts out drying time, so I may have to pause while things dry. I wanted to tell you about my materials. I can't tell if this looks backwards to you, right? Right? Cool, cool, cool. So you can't tell what that says. No, 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 no. But it's Koi watercolors, Pocket Field Sketchbox, Sakura Color Watercolors, Sakura Color Products Corporation. Um, I bought this a long time ago, and it's nice. It's got the palette of watercolors, and it also comes with this like fun little thing in in here. See? So you can it makes its own little palette thing. And I'm also using some brushes. These brushes I bought at an art store once upon a time. Uh, they were the recommendation of the artist there or the person there as good beginner brushes. And of course, I have no idea what they are, so I couldn't tell you what they are or where to buy them. These ones I bought on Amazon um, because I bought these brushes one at a time, and I bought just like a big set for these brushes. So I do believe that these were just an Amazon recommendation. I'm not positive about that, but I haven't clearly taken super great care of them. Um, but they have served me well for watercolor. I think that I actually bought them for acrylics, but it'll be fine. I'm not concerned. Um, okay, so let's do this thing. Gotta drink my coffee. Gotta have my coffee.
I'm just using a bigger brush and I'm just making a big puddle of water in my
Let me make sure that you can hear her, because I turned her volume down quite a bit for me. So
tray because I'm going to first paint the background, which would be, if you're looking at a landscape, it would be the sky. And
she's
the
very
landscape we're
quiet.
going to be painting is as if we were sitting on a mountain looking down at the valley or other mountains. So I'm going to use a little bit of blue. Come on, blue. Now, since this is going to be something that's furthest away from it, this is going to be the lightest and the dullest color. So as things move further away from us, they get a little bit duller, a little bit bluer, and that is called atmospheric perspective. So to
You learn
make this
things
a little bit
here
duller,
on
you could add a few different colors to it.
Mondays with
I'm going to
Mary
add a little bit
Mornings
orange.
with Mary Margaret.
It's gonna kind of turn it into a gray. You might want to just test it on a paper towel
I
to
don't have
make
a
sure
good
it's the
dark
color
blue.
that
She's
you want.
using a
So I
darker
usually
blue than
just
I am.
brush it on there and say, oh, or another
Oh, I
piece
do
of
have a good
watercolor
dark blue.
paper that
Okay,
works too.
I
And
take
then
it
you're
back.
gonna paint in your sky. To get a flat wash, I like to actually have my paper vertical, not on a table, but this will still work. It's kind of hard to get used to painting that way. You just want to make sure you can go back in lightly in places, but you don't want to scrub your paper. Scrubbing would be if I kept going back and forth and eventually it would rub right through your paper. If you get bunches of water, you can just dry off your brush a little bit and just drag it over that area. So after you get this layer done, you need to let it dry before you add the second layer. Okay, now once it's dry, you can tell it's dry because it's not going to be shiny anymore.
She stopped to let it dry, so I'm gonna use that time to wet my paper. This is not what she did exactly, I don't think. I already forgot what she did, but I don't have great light, and I sort of blame well, no, I definitely blame myself for that. Like, who else is here to blame? The dogs. I can blame the dogs. For those of you who did not watch yesterday's stream, uh, just a heads up, my webcam is set to follow my face, and that can be somewhat disconcerting sometimes because sometimes it's very bad at that, and it just picks a different thing and just decides that's my face. So, apologies for starting your morning off with a little bit of confusion, but all right, let's see. So she started from the left and moved over. So I'm gonna do that too. Start over here, and we'll go like this. The taping of the paper was a good choice. Good choice, Mary. Juno would like to paint also. Yep. We're just gonna get a little bit of dog painting in our tutorial this morning. I think you can see the whole painting. Yes, you can. Okay. Sorry, I'm just struggling to... There's a lot of windows on my screen and not a lot of ability for me to see them. But that's cool. I don't need to see them that much. Juno got my shoe, so that's where we are sort of today. This is taking me a long time. I'm really glad that I got rid of some of the paper, and I'm only doing a half size piece of paper because this would be a lot otherwise. Okay. So then she let hers dry. She got to this point and she let hers dry. So I'm going to let mine dry a little bit. And just sort of like chat with you. How's it going? How's life? How are things? You know? Just tell me all your thoughts on God, because I really want to meet her. Oh, hey! Oh, Juno, you wanna be on the TV? You wanna be on the internet? Come here. Come here, little Juno. She knows what I'm trying to do and she doesn't want to be a part of it. What? You just want me to play with you? Yes. Oh, 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 you just want me to play with you? Oh, here, I got her. I got her. Oh, she says no. She figured out what was going on. She's not she's not a camera obsessed dog. So I have to wait until this is no longer shiny. And honestly, it looks even less blue than I would expect it to, given that it is blue. um, Sorry, my nose itches. Can't be helped. Just gotta scratch it. There's that one person. That one person I can always count on to be watching my stream. Okay, this looks dry enough. I mean, this looks like it's pretty bone dry on hers, but um, I don't got that kind of time. I'll just wait. I'll be patient. It's like a 4 minute long video and we're already 2 minutes into it, so like it I can wait this. Do you know? She's my slipper. No, you can't have it. I'm not gonna give it back to you. She's gonna get it though. See, it's weird. She doesn't like chew it up. She just sort of like sticks her nose all up in it and then like carries it around. It's weird. You can see, unfortunately, today, I should have like set this up a little bit better. You can see I think I used one or two too many books in my tripod today, so I apologize for that. Because you can see the books more easily than you can see my face, it looks like, but I sort of blame the webcam on that one. All right, how we doing? How we doing on this dryness? Now there's a little bit of a puddle right here. You can't see it, but you can see how the paper sort of crinkles to end up with this little divot here that puddles right here. And now my finger is wet. I don't like having wet fingers. I'm joking. Joking. Okay. You know, we're just gonna go. We're just gonna go and we're gonna see what happens.
You made a mistake like I did right here. Just cover it up with your foreground later, or maybe even your middle ground. So I'm just
I
adding
don't
a little
see.
bit more blue to my puddle, and a little bit more orange, and I am going to lightly paint in some mountains that are going to be back here. These are mountains in my head. Well, just like I did before, I'm going to let this dry before I start the next layer. For this next step,
Oh
I'm
my
adding a
goodness.
little...
Okay. That was fast. I do need more blue because I have expended most of the blue that was in. Hey, stop it. That's my shoe. That's my shoe, Juno. Juno. That's my shoe. She's so cute, guys. Oh, my face went. There it is. Okay, now you can see it. All right. So then we paint the mountains in our head. Mountains, Gandalf. I want to see mountains. Those aren't mountains. What have I done? Well, folks, I've already ruined the mountain effect. Unsurprisingly, because I did not wait for this to dry. I don't really know. It just like doesn't make the. See, there's a sharp line because that part was dry. But I will start to just fill this in, and it'll be what it is. And when you eventually want to do this on your own, learn from my mistake and don't get antsy about it. Um, and take your time. Yeah. Let's see if I can make this a little sharper here. Now that the background has dried a little more. I can't say these look like mountains, but oh well, you know? Oh well. They look a little bit. Also, there's like dog hair in there, so that's sort of my life. Okay. So, but then she lets hers dry again. And I've learned my lesson. last time I didn't let it dry and it looked bad. So I'm gonna lay my brush down and let's just talk for a little bit. I should have picked a different landscape. There's really no, I shouldn't do watercolor. I think is sort of the lesson to be learned here is that watercolor takes a bit too much time to dry. Okay, so which part of my face has to leave before the webcam doesn't know where it is? Oh, it still knows I'm here. It just can't see me. Aha! Gotcha. Okay, there we go. Come on. That's so cute. I feel like I'm playing hide and go seek with a robot. Okay, let's just see what she does next.
A bit more blue to my puddle, and I'm just going to make one more mountain range before I paint the mountain that we are on. Okay, once this is dried, you can go ahead and paint in your foreground. I'm making my puddle just a...
Okay. Yeah, so I'll start mixing my colors together. That's what I'll do. So mine looks a little bit more green, a little bit less, because the orange I pulled was really more of a yellowy orange than hers. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna stick with that because I don't want it to like look inconsistent. But I am gonna add just the teensiest little bit of just a regular orange, um, and see how that does me. And then I'm gonna add more water. What's great about this is it was advertised to me, but well, I mean, she said at the beginning of the video that I cut out, that you use basically only one color. I mean, you use a few colors, but you use you once you've mixed it, it's basically that same color forever onwards. And that's like not my ideal. I love like the thing that I love about watercolors is how interesting the colors can look when you use different ones. But this is nice because it does mean that my water I don't have to worry about whether I'm changing it or not. In the last one, I was a little bit worried that not changing my water would cause a bit of a muddiness to the paper. And what turned out, a lot of things caused muddiness to that paper. So, okay, so it looks like this is pretty dry. I'm just gonna make another mountain, and I'm gonna start with this side being higher, I think. Um, yeah, okay. So that looks more um mountainier than the last one did because I think with the dryness it helped. But there is still this like little spot right here because this spot was not it's wrinkly. It's wrinkly in a weird way, and I think the wrinkly disguised a bit of extra um, moisture on the paper. So I gotta see if I can make this part look mountainy. Okay, I think that'll do for now. We might have to touch it up later, I don't know. but the rest of it looks pretty good. Oh, hey! I was looking at my painting and I was like, oh, I I thought that I was looking at hers. So that's cool. Okay, I also realized I think oh no, she had scrolled over. Okay. All right. So now we'll just sit and wait a little bit. We'll see what she does next because she moves on to the foreground.
A little bit bigger, not too much. And I'm gonna add a lot of blue and just a touch of orange. So I'm gonna paint a hill coming down here and then maybe starting to come up on that side. If it bothers you, because you can kind of see those mountains through this, you can make this color a tiny bit darker and brighter and go back over it. Okay, once the last layer you painted is dried, you're gonna go ahead and paint in the foreground, which is going to be some pine trees. You wanna make sure though that you use a ton of blue and make sure you're letting each layer dry in between. And if you make a mistake, like I did, it's okay. Just figure out a way to incorporate it or add something over the top of it. So I'm gonna start with this pine tree right here, and I'm gonna start at the very, very bottom. And I'm just going to make this kind of bushy pine needles. I'm gonna start from the bottom on this one.
Okay.
There's that without the reflection. Okay, so I'm just gonna paint a smaller pine tree right here next to this one.
Having issues with the pine trees. Okay, so let's go back to where I was because otherwise I'm gonna lose track. I've only made 2 hills. Do you see those 2 hills? My house is between those 2 hills. It looks a lot better on camera than it does in person, and I don't know if that's just because like the lighting, but I'm down for it. I'm down for it. You guys must think I'm a genius. But it just looks like sort of interesting watercolor to me. Okay, let's mix that color again. That was a good way to spend our time before. So we're gonna take the blue. I mean, you can't see this at all because it's on off the picture. I do apologize about that. But I basically mixed 2 blues because I had a really light blue that I didn't like. I wanted it to be a darker, at least to start out darker, you know? And I'm going to grab some of this orange again. And then I'm going to there we go. Okay, so we've got our color. This is looking okay. It's looking a little drier than it did. And I want to remember what she did here.
To come up on that side. If it bothers you, because you can kind of see those mountains through this.
Okay, so she does sort of like a deep V. A V cut, a V neck mountain here. So I think I'm just gonna go like this. Again, I'm like struggling with just the whole concept of a mountain. And then she went back up. I'm just not gonna go back up as high because I want to show off the second hill that I have there, and mine was a little bit different than hers, so cool. So in general, I think it's hard to tell from the perspective that I have. I think that hers is in general more like saturated with color than mine, like darker in the in the way that color saturation does that. Um, and I don't know how that's going to affect the final product, but we are on a journey of exploration today, so we will see. We will see. Okay. So there we go. That's our hills situation. Now we're gonna switch brushes. And I've got a few to choose from. So these guys look a little bit too small. Um, they're so little baby brushes that they would really show their detail. The other two that I might choose from would be these two. This one is this one's just sort of thick, so it might go sort of the opposite direction and not show enough detail or look a little bit too muddled. So I think I'm gonna go with this one, um, and we'll see how that does. We're gonna start mixing the color again while this is drying. I want it to be a little bit brighter, I think, because now it's in the foreground, and she at least previously had said that things farther away are duller, so things closer are brighter. Um, so I think I'm going to use less of the orange sort of delification strategy. See, I can use big art words too. Okay, I want to see how she does this again because I'm concerned about the trees.
Something brighter and go back over it. Okay, once the last layer you painted is dried, you're gonna go ahead and paint in the foreground, which is going to be some pine trees. You wanna make sure though that you use a ton of blue and make sure you're letting each layer dry in between. And if you make a mistake, like I did, it's okay. Just figure out a way to incorporate it or add something over the top of it. So I'm gonna start with this pine tree right here, and I'm gonna start at the very, very bottom. And I'm just going to make
Okay.
bushy pine needles.
Okay. Breathe deep. It's gonna be okay. All right. I don't think I let it dry enough. It just, well, okay, maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. It just looks like it's blending it. I don't think I let it dry enough. I'm gonna let it dry a little bit more because it just looks like a little glob. It doesn't look like a pine tree. We'll just dry it off sort of aggressively ourselves. Now what's interesting is that I did tape this, but the tape did not stick in all of the spots. And I sort of anticipated this happening because I'm used to using masking tape. But I don't know if you remember, in the last video she used Scotch tape, and also I am running out of masking tape. So I thought I would use Scotch tape this time. And Scotch tape just doesn't adhere as well to like the um, texture of watercolor paper in my experience. So, um, oh, hello, Doki. Hello. Have you come to chew on Mommy's shoe again? No, she has ignored Mommy's shoe. This is a great success. Okay, so this side's much more dry, but it is still wet. What time are we working with here? Ooh, we're at We're at the 30-minute mark. Well, past it by the time the video actually gets to this point. Okay, we're just going to start from the other side, I think, because the other side is drier, and I want to see if it's working. Yes, this is much more like what hers looked like. Um, and I think I just need to do fewer strokes than I want to, because otherwise I'm like overdoing it, and I'm like really stressed about these trees, guys. Because I have tried to do pine trees before, not in watercolor, but just like in other areas of my life. I have tried to make pine trees, and they never quite look like what I wanted them to. Um, I think I just have sort of an emotional, spiritual block when it comes to pine trees. Um, and they stress me out. So when I saw that there were pine trees on this video, I should have just come up with a strategy at that point to uh, mentally and emotionally prepare for having to make the pine trees, but I did not. I decided to just ignore it for now. All right. It doesn't look too bad though. I'm pleasantly surprised by the pine tree. Okay, and then this over here is dry now, so I'm gonna try um, I'm gonna sort of revive my colors a bit, and I'm gonna try to make this pine tree over here. See, I don't know, it's just like my instincts about how pine trees should work do not serve me well when actually it comes to making them. So I'm going to try a different tactic on this tree over here because you know, if you don't experiment in life, you'll never learn. You may fail, but you'll at least learn something. So I'm experimenting with doing sort of like a double layer of the pine tree, um, and hopefully giving it a little bit of depth. I'm gonna also ruin this one over here. I just anticipated ruining it, but we'll see. Um, I mean, it doesn't quite look like a silhouette when you do it this way, huh? Because a silhouette, you, you can't really see the details of it. But I'm okay with it, I think, at this point, because this is far enough, allegedly, this is far enough into the foreground that you might, like, that it wouldn't be a complete silhouette, you know? Like, It might just be, instead of being like the full depth of color that you would see from not a silhouette, um, you're seeing more just shadows that are colored by the light around them. Um, so let me look at how that looks on camera. I'm very interested to know. I cannot find for the life of me. Okay. See, this one looks better. I think it looks fuller. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to refresh sort of my whole water situation here. Um, let this guy dry a little bit. And I'm going to come back to that. But first, she goes on to do another pine tree on that side. So um, I too shall do that bravely. Actually, I'm not going to let this dry because it doesn't need to dry. But I'm just going to make it wider at the base because that's how pine trees work. I don't know, little known fact, pine trees are wider at the base than they are at the top. Um, and that's, what's really important about art is that art is uh, the loving way of paying attention to things. And I'm lovingly paying attention to these pine trees. Uh, Now that's a big chunk. I like the big chunk. Um, I can do with the big chunk. I'm going to refresh the color a little bit more again. Okay. So then she makes another one. I want to see how she does the third pine
I'm
tree.
gonna start from the bottom on this one. There's that without the reflection. Okay, so now I'm just gonna paint a smaller pine tree right here next to this one. Okay, and then you can add some darker areas in there if you want some shadows.
Okay. Need more water. It doesn't look as good as I wanted it to, but
It ends up looking like a monochromatic painting or a painting where you just use one color. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial.
oh,
I've had a lot of people ask about how to paint landscapes, and this is the most simple way I've ever learned to begin with in watercolor. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and hopefully I will see you later on YouTube.
we did it. We did the tutorial. We successfully did a tutorial. I guess that's that then. Okay. So, let me there we go. This is this is my watercolor painting done for you this morning. This guy looks a little bit like he's struggling a little. My favorite one has actually turned out to be this one, even though I struggled with that one early on. I think I was able to pull it together. I might have to keep messing with this one once it's dry. I might. But if I mess with it too much, I might not like it anymore. Um, this was a very simple landscape. It looks like a child drew it when I hold it up for myself. Um, oh, you can't find my face now, can you, computer? Ha ha ha. Okay, so this is my watercolor tutorial. Happy Tuesday. Make good choices, don't do drugs, and stay at school.